Greetings, mere mortals, and welcome back to Monster Month.
Today, we're ranking 80's cartoon villains based on how monstrous they look. Unfortunately, that does mean that Baron Dark from Skeleton Warriors is disqualified since that is from the 90's. I assure you he would have ranked quite high otherwise. Alas, he's out on a technicality.
But technicalities aren't always a bad thing. In fact, that's what got this entry on the list.
Number 6. Cobra Commander, but only very, very briefly. Yes, I know, there's nothing monstrous about Cobra Commander, usually.
In fact, how to best describe him, Destro?
The Cobra Commander is a world-class buffoon. What?
Yes, precisely.
However, there was one time and one time only when he was quite literally a monster. Namely, when he was transforming into a snake in the movie. You can say what you will about that film, and Timmer sure as hell has. But, it was once a man bit was quite chilling. And that's what's earned the commander a place on this list. He is in last place because it only lasted for a little bit of time, though. Number 5. Skeletor. He looks cool, but not all that monstrous. Though maybe that's because everybody is so used to what he looks like. Still, Skullface does deserve to be part of this list. And like I said last time, it's freaking Skeletor! Though I probably should stop putting him on lists, otherwise it may start to look like nepotism.
Even though we're not related.
Number 4. Meltar from Inhumanoids. We could put all Inhumanoids here, really, but I'm sticking with characters who are in charge, and that's Meltar here. Still, consider this guy as a representative of all the Inhumanoids. The only annoying thing is my brain keeps autocorrecting his name to Meltar since that just sounds more right. I can't even promise I won't screw it up here.
Metlar.
Number 3. Dex Hex from Brave Star. Okay, so technically this is like the chief henchman of another villain, but he just looks so cool. He's the primary opponent of Marshal Bravestar and his Warhammer 40k looking My Little Pony. He's like a zombie cowboy freak, and that's just lovely. I do have to mention his boss is an ancient demonic tech-enhanced bronchosaur called Stampede.
Bravestar was pretty weird, okay?
Though I admit that's also kind of awesome, just not as monstrous as Dex Hex. Let's give him an honorable mention. Number 2. Sawboss from Jace and the Wheeled Warriors. This guy vaguely reminds me of first and second form Frieza from Dragon Ball Z, which is weird since Sawboss predates that character by a few years. He and his faction, the Monster Minds, have this neat body horror thing going on. Timmer wanted me to mention these guys kinda disturbed him as a kid.
So their boss gets a high spot on this list.
Of course, nowadays the word Saw is associated with a much more horrifying franchise.
And the number 1 most monstrous looking 80s cartoon villain is...
Mumra, the ever-living from Thundercats. In a way, you get 2 for the price of 1 here. At first, he's a creepy old mummy guy that, while looking monstrous, seems as threatening as a non-Warhammer 40k My Little Pony. But then he gets on the steroids and transforms into his final form, becoming a buff, creepy young guy. I especially like the snakes coming out of his head or helmet. Let's say head. It's more monstrous that way. I'm just not sure why the archenemy of the Thundercats was a mummy. I would have invented lightning hounds, a sort of werewolves that had electric powers. Still, Mumra in both forms is number one. And that was the list. What 80s villain was the most monstrous for you? Let us know in the comments below.
Until next time, mere mortals. And remember, if you don't like, share, and subscribe, then who's really the monster here? In case you're wondering where the lantern was, well, the light broke. So, can't really use it anymore.